The year is quickly coming to a close, and so far I've only had 4 new 5-star reads this year, which is crazy because I always say that I give out 5 stars like candy. So the fact that I've read 80+ books and have only rated 4 or 5 stars, that's kind of crazy. So in this video, I'm going to read books that I think I would give a 5 stars in the hopes that I find a new one. The first book that I'm going to be reading is Renegades by Marissa Meyer. This is a chunky book, but this is also simultaneously reading books that I've been avoiding because I have had this book for over 2 years now and have not picked it up because I have built it up so much in my head that I'm gonna love it. Just scared if I don't, but let's read it. So I am about 50% of the way through The Renegades. The reason why I thought I was going to give this book a 5 stars is because it deals with superheroes. Now, I love Marvel. I was such a big Marvel fangirl. I was there on opening night for Infinity War and Endgame, sobbing, crying through the whole thing. Like, I love superheroes. And I feel like that's not really something you see much in books. So when I saw this book and it is about a group of superheroes, I was like, give me that. You're like, yeah, that's right up my alley. But this book takes place in Gatlin City. When you pick up the book, it is being ruled by anarchists. They're prodigies, which is what they call people with superpowers, who think that everybody should be free to do anything they want. Nova is a kid and she watches her entire family get murdered, and she is taken in by a group of villains, and that's how she is raised. Well, we are now 10 years later and the anarchists have been defeated by the Renegades, who are a group of heroes, quote unquote, who took it upon themselves to rid society of the anarchists and bring back order to society. She is still living and dealing with these villains, and she decides to go undercover and join the Renegades so that she can learn more about them, so that way her group, her friends, could defeat them from the inside out. Like I said, I'm about 50% of the way through this book. Granted, this is a trilogy. In most fantasy series, the first book is going to be a lot of setup, a lot of background information, especially with the way the society is designed in this book. Just requires a lot of information. That's where we're at now. I think we're about to start getting into the actual plot of the book, which I am excited about. So I am gonna hop in bed. I'm going to use my lazy reading glasses to read some more of this book. So, wow, I look so silly. I'm sorry. What? That is so sad. I'm tempted to say like maybe one of the saddest things I've ever read in a book. How in the world did Marissa Meyer come up with that? Like, what? So I have about 40 pages left. Oops. So if you were wondering if I was enjoying this book, I've read about half of it today. Half of this 552 page book. So if that tells you anything, I fear that everything is about to hit the fan. Funny. What's happening? I'm confused. Huh? Oops. Huh? might not look like it, but it's the next day, I promise. I am about ready to go to the gym and I am gonna start a new book. My favorite trick is to take my Kindle with me to the gym and use my Kindle page turner on the treadmill. But I'm gonna start reading Fearful by Lauren Roberts, which is the latest novella in the Powerless series. You might think, like, novella? You really think that this could, like, be a 5 stars? I do think it could be a 5 stars because I read Powerful last summer and oh my gosh, that book wrecked me. I was sobbing, crying about that book. It was so good. And I rated it a 5 stars. So I'm like, could I also rate this book a 5 stars? I don't know. We'll see what happens. Last night, I finished reading Renegades by Marissa Meyer, and I wanted to sit with my thoughts a little bit before I shared them with you guys. I enjoyed this book, clearly, considering the fact that I read half of this book literally yesterday, and it's not a short book. This is my 3rd Marissa Meyer book that I've read, and it is very impressive to me how quickly I fall in love with her characters. They all just have such unique personalities. Even if the character is not meant to be likable, they have likable traits. If you're new to my channel, let me tell you that one thing about me is that when I'm reading, my brain shuts off. So I very much enjoy authors whose writing style lends to be a little bit more simplistic, but the message is still very much there. I am very intrigued to see how the main characters grow and change throughout this series and to see where it is that they end up at the end of the 3rd book. Was this a 5 stars? Unfortunately not. I don't think it was a 5 stars, which now that I think about it is not really that surprising. If you're going to rate a book in a series of 5 stars, more than likely it's not going to be the first book because there is so much setup that needs to happen, so much background information that needs to be given. It doesn't exactly lend itself to being the most intriguing book in a series, but I do see this series as having the potential to be a 5-star series for me. On to the next book. I spent an hour at the gym this morning on the treadmill, and now I'm on page 72 of Fearful. Now, if anybody's ever wondering how I end up reading so many books in a year, currently I've read 82 books this year. The answer is because I find ways to read in my everyday life. You know, I figured out a way that I could read at the gym because I am nuts. I knew when going into this book that it was going to be about Kit. However, there's also like this whole other plot line, these different characters that we're following that I wasn't expecting. And now maybe it says it in the blurb of the book, okay? Maybe it says it in like the plot summary or whatever. But I don't read those. So I'm about a quarter of the way through this book. I'm still very much in the dark on where this book is going to end up going, which is interesting. In the past, when I've read Lauren Roberts' books, I feel that they've been a little bit more predictable about where the book was going to end up. And even though I technically already know how this book ends, at this point, I still have no idea how we're gonna get there. Is this who I think it is? It is who I think it is. That was cruel. That was cruel, Lauren Roberts. This is one of my favorite ways to read. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't expect to read this again. I didn't expect this to return to play a part in this book. I don't know why. Because it makes sense that it would. It's interesting to see how much of a warped view of the world that Kit truly has. Yet he's so confident that he has all the pieces to the puzzle, when really, if you look at it, he's missing about half. But really nobody in this world really knows the truth about what's going on. They all think that they do, but they don't. Okay, wait, now I'm confused. Again, why are these books confusing me? But I think that's the point. I'm really lost. I was following for a while, but now about on page like 190, now I'm lost. I'm so lost. So I finished reading Fearful, and that was weird. It was fine until a point. Up until like the 85% mark, it was like, okay, I'm following. I mean, it might not be my favorite book in the series, but I'm following. But then the last like 3 chapters, it was like, I don't understand any of what's happening right now. I wasn't really following where the shift happened for some of the characters, because some of the characters, they ended the book behaving very differently than they started the book, and it just wasn't really clear why that was. It was a little bit irritating, honestly, that there were so many questions opened in this novella, clearly to open up a door for future books, for more books in the series. Not a 5 stars, to say the least. Anyways, the next book that I started reading was Once Upon a Broken Heart. Now, I definitely have high expectations for this. Okay, I loved the Caraval trilogy, a 5-star series for me. Rated Finale, the final book in the trilogy, a 5 stars. And a lot of people that I've seen talk about this series, the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy, say they like this series much more than Caraval. So the fact that I loved Caraval, I'm expecting to love this book. I am about like 150 pages in. I'm still not really sure what's happening. We're in the thick of part of the plot, and I'm like, are you in danger? Do you not know that you're in danger? Because I feel like you're in danger. I'm gonna go keep reading this. I'm getting further in this book. Things are happening. I'm intrigued. To be honest, I really have no idea where this is gonna go. Because as much as people talk about this book and this series, I really don't know how things are gonna progress from here. Which is so fun. I love not having things spoiled for me, because guess what? You can tell somebody you love a book without telling them the entire plot of the book. Wow, what a concept. I am about 2/3 of the way through Once Upon a Broken Heart, and the story is intriguing. Do I have any idea where it's gonna go? No. still don't. Currently though, I have to admit, I'm not getting 5-star feelings from this book. I just have to be honest, guys. I have to tell you the truth, which is that I don't feel like I'm gonna give this book a 5 stars, which is okay. It is the first in a series, but oh well. So I've got about 50 pages left of Once Upon a Broken Heart, and what I just read, something was revealed. Something was said in passing. The female main character, Evangeline, like did not draw any attention to it whatsoever. She was just like, oh yeah, this. And I'm like, wait a minute. Does that mean what I think it means? Surely it does. Surely it means exactly what I think it means. Anyways, I'm excited to finish this. Was how many 5 stars can I find? The answer was apparently 0, which I did not expect. Should I have expected it? Yes, because I started 2 new series. Usually the first book in a series is not going to be 5 stars for me. I still did really enjoy them, and I'm definitely continuing the series, especially Renegades, since I already have all 3 books in the trilogy. I loved Renegades. Like, even though you're getting so much politics, so much world building in the first book, I really enjoyed the story and getting to learn about this world. I feel like Marissa Meyer really built a great foundation for the other books in the series. I settled on giving Renegades a 4 stars. Then I read Fearful by Lauren Roberts. It did not go in any logical direction. I was following until about 80%. And then 80%, it felt like I'd missed a big chunk of the book because characters started making decisions that like their previous behavior in the book didn't justify how they were currently behaving. And there were so many plot holes, things that were mentioned but not explained. I really think that the whole purpose of this book was for Lauren Roberts to open the door for her to write more books in this universe. And it honestly just felt so forced. Was it necessary? No. Was it worth reading? No. I rated it a 2 stars. I was reading through some of the reviews on Goodreads trying to see if I was crazy in my feelings on this. The reviews were quite mixed. There were a lot of people who loved it, who rated it a 5 stars, which I don't understand. I'm like, did we read the same book? I'm not really sure. But then there were also quite a few reviews saying, this book did not need to exist. Then I ended off with Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. I can honestly say there was no point in the book where I knew where it was going, and I never would have guessed what happened at the end. I am looking forward to continuing the series. Would I say that I liked this book more than the Caraval trilogy, which is what I've heard a lot of people say? At this point, no. But at the same time, I don't have the full story, so my opinion might change once I finish all 3 books. So I ended up rating that a 4 stars as well. I came into this looking for a 5-star book, didn't find one. Before this year, I gave out 5 stars like they were candy. When I was doing my 2024 yearly wrap up and I tier ranked all of the books, I believe at least half of them were 4 stars and above. And considering the fact that I read 112 books last year, which then means I rated about 55 books of 4 stars or above, I feel that this year my numbers pale in comparison. Anyways, guys, that is all I have for you guys today. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up to let me know that you enjoy this type of content. Comment down below the last book that you gave 5 stars. And subscribe to my channel for more bookish content in the future. I hope you have a lovely rest of your week, and I will see you guys next time.